On or that comes on?
What do we say? Continue?
Continue.
Yes, we're here. We're recording. I believe we're live. Hello. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me for another In Conversations With. Obviously, for our members who are new to this segment, this is our In Conversation With, and we have the lovely Nina. We also have Lauren joining us today, and we are going to be talking, I think, all things Nina Runsdorf, running an empire, and talking with clients, talking gems, which I'm really excited about to talk about today. And then we'll also open up the last sort of 5 to 10 minutes for any questions that any of our members might have, if that's okay. But I would love for you, Nina, to just, for anyone who's not aware, how would you describe, who is Nina Runsdorf, in the sense of who is the woman and who is the brand as well?
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Nina Runsdorf. I just want to say I'm so happy to be doing this with you today. It's really, really fun, and looking forward to all the questions that you have. So I am a New Yorker. I was born in New York City, and then I was raised. I moved when I was 8 years old to a farm in upstate New York, where I was raised until I went to university. And I think that Nina Runsdorf, the person, is a balance between a country girl and a city girl. And when I was 11 years old, my mother, knew that I loved to work with my hands and I loved fashion. I would say to her, even when I was 10 years old, 8 years old, I'd say, Mommy, I want to buy a fashion magazine, and spent all of my hours pulling pictures and saving things that I loved and collecting different beads and all these things. And so my mom knew that I had like a certain talent. So she put a jewelry bench in the kitchen at the farm where I grew up, and we were only allowed to have 1.5 hour of TV a day, which was I Love Lucy. So we watched I Love Lucy, and then I would make jewelry at night. And when I was 11 years old, I started my first jewelry line, which is a silver line that's never been shown, but hopefully one day we'll launch it. And my daughters, Alexa and Kate, who are 24 and 26, are always like, Mom, you should do the silver line. It's really relevant for today. So I think that's really fun and cute. And so that's how it all started. And then I came to New York, and my dream was always to work for Ralph Lauren. And because I grew up on the farm, and I was also a competitive horseback rider. And so horses was my thing. The polo pony I was all about the polo pony, and Ralph's t-shirts and all that. So I ended up landing a job in fashion with Ralph Lauren. I was shopping in the store on 72nd Street, and I was looking at men's blazers for myself. And they stopped me in the store, and I was wearing one of Ralph's big leather backpacks that I bought at like a discount store in Albany, New York. And they asked me what I did for a living, and I said, well, I have a jewelry company that I had started when I was very young with my sister Anne, called Niana. And my mother thought we became lazy after 3 years, so she said, I'm not helping you pay for samples anymore, go get a job. So I went shopping. I'm sorry, I'm back, I'm going backward and forward. So I started working I was shopping at Ralph Lauren, and they stopped me, and I said, well, actually I'm looking for a job because I'm not going to do my jewelry anymore. And so they hired me to work in sales at Ralph Lauren in women's roughwear. So the deal is that I made a deal with them that not only my salary, but if I sold a certain amount of pieces, they would give me the piece. So like a beautiful suede shirt. So that's how it all started.
Smart. And then I like that, thinking about the wardrobe. Smart. I know, because I said
that's what I started.
My fashion job, all my money went back into the company.
All that clothing allowance, right? It was like head to toe Ralph Lauren. And in those years, I collect still turquoise jewelry, American Indian things. And so I would, wear all the beads and all the bracelets I designed and all the belts and blah, blah, blah. And I ended up meeting Ralph Lauren and then helping him buy some of his beautiful belts and things that he used for his Double RL ranch. So we became friends, and it was really an incredible experience. I was in my early 20s. And then I was making these suede bracelets for myself, these beads that I had collected that were from a harness, and I would with suede, and I would tie them around, and I would wear like piles of them, crazy. And a woman that worked for Ralph Lauren, who was in the jewelry area, who always wanted me to come from women's wear to come and work with her in the antique jewelry department, bought them for 3 people. And so she started to like get me to make more things. And then I ended up leaving women's rough wear. They moved me to men's, and I didn't like working in the men's department. So then Dina, the woman who I went to work for, who ran the antique jewelry area for Ralph Lauren on 72nd Street, kind of took me under her wing, and she gave me the opportunity to really understand antique jewelry. And at the time, I also met a gentleman who I was married to. I'm my late husband. In 1991, we were married, and his father was in a diamond dealer in New York. So between Dina teaching me about antique jewelry and my father-in-law teaching me about diamonds, I really got this amazing education on jewelry. And so then, of course, my love of jewelry came back. And I started to, as I said, make these suede bracelets and all these things. And then Dina ended up buying 3 of them and giving them to 3 different people. One of the people she gave to was a woman who had just left Ralph Lauren as I think she was design director or creative director, and went to work for Mickey Drexler when he was hired to change the Gap Corporation, where they were at Banana Republic, changing the image from Safari to what it is today. And she opened the box as a gift, and she was like, who made this bracelet? I want her to do accessories for Banana Republic.
Wow.
So I left Ralph and I went to work for Tasha Polizzi and Mickey Drexler, and he kind of mentored me. He's an amazing man. And so I was there for a few years, and I learned all about making, all different types of accessories. I started doing handbags and belts, and not only jewelry, but all the accessories, shoes and crazy things. And then I ended up also, while we were at Banana Republic, as accessories director, they did private label handbags for different companies. And there were these 3 Icelandic sisters who had the license for Ralph Lauren handbags. And so we used to sample all of these things. So when I was at Banana, they met me, and they were like, we want to start a lifestyle brand. Will you come and work with us and start our lifestyle brand? So I ended up leaving Banana Republic and going to work for these 3 sisters. And I was with them for 10 years. I was fashion director, and I learned to do everything. It was such an incredible experience. I traveled the world buying samples of all different antique things, whether it was a piece of jewelry, whether it was a belt buckle, whether it was the closure on a bag, it was, it was everything ready to wear. I did everything with them, and it was an incredible experience. And then when I married Jim and I started to have my children, I thought, oh my goodness, I can't work so many hours. I want to be part-time mom. And so I ended up going from 5 days a week to 3 with my first child, with Alexa. And then I went to my second child was born 2 years later, Kate. And I said, you know what, I can only work 1 day a week. And then I felt guilty. And I said, you know what, I think I have to leave you guys. I'm sorry, but I really want to be a mom. So I left the fashion world and I went to work part-time for my father-in-law on the street on 47th Street, which I always call it's like a trading floor. Yeah. There is nothing glamorous about it.
Not at all.
And I worked on the trading floor for my father-in-law for, I think, 6 years. And I went to GIA and I did the color stone. And then in 2005, I launched my first collection, which is my brand, Nina Runsdorf. And I started with my flip ring, which I always wear, which is this ring that flips back and forth. And that's my iconic design that I started the company with in 2005.
Amazing. I feel like there's a few biographies in there, right? I was just like with Ralph Lauren. I was like,
she's so incredibly impressive
in the movie.
I think a lot of it is luck. I really do. I think you can make your own luck, but I think a lot of it is luck and just the right place at the right time. I just think
seizing the opportunity. I think you kind of were seeing things and being like, actually, that could be cool, or this seems like a good move.
Right. Yeah. So I kept jumping off cliffs and I just kept going. And even if I didn't know the answer, I was not afraid to learn on the job.
It's awesome.
So I think that's also part of it.
For sure.
And I was, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was raised that anything is possible, that as a woman, I hope that I instilled, I believe, in my own children and everybody that is part of the Nina Runsdorf team, that we can do whatever we want to do as long as you set your mind to it and you work hard and you can really, you dream big, dream big, it can happen. So.
For sure. I think that is usually, for a lot of people, they get in their own way. And there's a lack of sometimes self-belief, I think. And so, I think that the, great values and lessons to live by. So your first piece was the flip ring, your sort of signature piece. Is there anything else that really characterizes Nina Runsdorf? We talked a little bit before about, your sliced pieces.
Yes.
Are such a big part of your collections. What else really characterizes Nina?
So I think the first was the flip ring. And then the second, I really believe is sliced diamonds, which is an industrial quality diamond that used to be used in, to sharpen knives and with tools and all this thing. And I saw my first pair, I think it was 2007. And I found a pair in a show in Las Vegas when I was showing a couture in Las Vegas, but dealers come from all over the world and they show just loose stones that you can buy. And I saw my first pair and I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I thought they were extraordinary. And what I loved about sliced diamonds was that it's bling without being bling. Mm-hmm. It's still like catches your eye and you want to know what it is, but it's not like a headlight.
Yeah.
And I think that I was so attracted to the organicness of it, but also that it's still fine and it's still a diamond. And so I think that really put my brand on the map with sliced diamonds, because it was a category that nobody did before.
Yeah, you wouldn't think about it, I suppose, before. And there's such a lightness, like, to that piece as well. You don't have to feel like you've got kind of like something heavy, or you're sort of being weighed down. Like, you can just be wearing it and it's just stunning, but it's like you said, it catches your eye, but it's not glaring.
Yeah, and the whole idea with my brand is, my motto is never too precious to wear. And I really do believe that people have to enjoy their jewelry, and that's you don't buy jewelry for it to put in a safe. Right. And so the whole idea with the jewelry that I make, I want it to be approachable and wearable. Like I'm wearing a T-shirt, but I'm wearing very large emeralds, or it's over the top, but it's it's still very, very simple and beautiful. And so that's kind of my motto, creative but never too precious to wear.
Which is great, because I think a lot of women, I think, sometimes can be a little reticent, can be reticent to wear fine jewelry, or feel almost a little intimidated by the idea of fine jewelry and what that means. And like you said, I think you wear it super, super well, in the sense that it kind of just feels like it's part of you, like you're not even thinking about it, what you're wearing. Exactly. And I think that's how it should, like you said, it should be worn, and especially with this past year, and kind of being limited to where we're going, so means what we're wearing, but actually being able to wear, to have beautiful jewelry doesn't have to be like something that's for outside, or to be going out, and it can just be worn every day, and it can be a part of what you wear, like that
part of who you are, right? And also it's how it makes you feel, right? It should make you feel happy and joyous, and you can wear it in the house. Nobody else has to see it. It's just how it makes you feel. So that's what never too precious to wear. Jeans and a T-shirt or a ball gown can go either way.
That's what I think. I mean, I'm all about it. Yeah. And in terms of because you've had, this amazing experience with working with your father-in-law, and obviously, being able to really craft how you work, from such a young age, what is your process? How do you decide that's going to be this type of piece, or I'm going to, like you said, are you just being sort of caught by the pieces that you see, and then somehow it's, or do you have a mind of, I really want to make a necklace, or I really want to make something, and then you kind of find what fits?
Well, I would say it's a few things. I would say that I have an innate sense of what's happening in fashion, because that's what I did for so long. So I almost used to forecast, like I can kind of tell what's next.
Yeah.
So that's part of the process. With that being said, I also always say that the company is stone driven. So really we see the stones first, and then I kind of dream about what I want them to look like once I see the stones. And then I don't really sketch. So what I really do is, I know this is crazy, but my process is I have like clear plastic and double stick tape, and I literally put the stones down the way I think they should be. And then I live with it for at least 24 hours, because you can literally visually see what it will look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some in the safe.
She was very
Lauren,
creative last week.
I can show you.
I would love that. Yeah, please show it.
So it's a very interesting process, and so I really do that. And then we're a very big earring driven company, because that seems to be also rings. I think those are our two biggest categories, but it also depends on what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
When things last year were more difficult for people, we sold a lot of our gold line, because it's gold and you can wear it all the time, and the properties of gold make you feel a certain way. So the All That Is collection, I'm wearing a pinky ring right now from that.
Oh, that's stunning.
From the collection.
Yeah.
And I have a necklace actually underneath here that I'm wearing too, I think. And I'm wearing this one, which is like a 1970s slide.
Oh, I love it.
Slides.
Yeah.
So the collection is doing really well, because I think people didn't want to look opulent, but they wanted something that felt grounded, and they wanted something that they felt was almost talisman-like, or something that they inherited from their families. Like I wear a lot of the time under my t-shirt. I don't have it on today. I wear my grandmother's coin, because I felt like that helped me feel grounded. But just to give you an idea of the types of things that we do. So for instance, here is a pair of, goes this way. These are Australian opal and Sabarite garnet that are on plastic now. And then I will sit with the jewelers and tell them exactly how we want them to be set. Or here's sliced diamond with rough diamond around it.
Okay, amazing.
You
kind of just place it, and then I love that idea, actually. I've never seen anything like it, so this is so
I know, it's crazy. Here's a pair of Australian opals with emeralds that we're working on right now. So so that's kind of my process. So I looked at the stones first, and then I kind of lay it out, and that's kind of how I do it.
So interesting, because I would never have thought of that. I'm like, actually, that completely makes sense. And you can kind of, like you said, because it's on the clear plastic, you can really like move it around. So
right, and then I can even like make sure the stones match. I can hold it up to the ear, let's see how it's going to feel.
Right.
Like it's almost like paper dolls. I used to love paper dolls when I was a child. So
it looks so simple, but like actually I'm like, that's genius. Like that's exactly, it makes so much sense to be able to work it in that way. And because you are so stone driven, where do you look for your stones? Like what's your go-to?
Well, I used to have to travel a great deal at the beginning of the time we're 16 years in business now. So now really the stone dealers know me, and they come and offer what they think is extraordinary that sometimes they get, well, we don't know what to do with this. I'm sure you can figure it out. Right. So that's kind of what's happened now. So they come to me, and then, and we travel also. We do Tucson. Unfortunately, this past year, of course, it didn't happen, but I can't wait for it to open, hopefully in February. We go next year, and we do, because the dealers come from all over the world, and it's so much fun to go and like hunt for treasures, because my mother always taught me how to hunt for treasures. We love going to flea markets. Even when I was in my 20s, I would go to 26th Street and go and find old watch parts and things. I would see Andy Warhol. He'd be picking, doing the same thing. Everybody's hunting for treasures. So it's just super fun. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And is there anything that you've come across before that you were like, I've never seen this before. It was, such a spectacular piece, and then, but you don't necessarily work on it straight away. Like it's something you think, I don't know what I'm doing now, but. For
sure. These stones, these squares, I have had in the safe for almost 2 years.
Okay. Wow.
And I'm finally, they're coming to life now. It's their time. Yeah. And I collect a lot of slice because, when slice became a category, it was harder to find the large pieces. So there was a time where I was collecting that. I also collect old mine diamonds because they're hard to find, and don't necessarily make them right away, but I like to collect things that I think are extraordinary, and then they always seem to have their time.
Right. There's always going to be, like not for now, but
right.
Save you for later, exactly.
Yeah. We launched during COVID. We launched a collection called Tree of Life that really, I felt there were a lot of reasons. I mean, I think I was really attracted to this is opalized wood, which is 3,000 years old from Indonesia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. But this whole collection, what happened with this was we had started it, and then when COVID happened, my daughters and I moved out of New York because it was so devastating here, and we rented a place out in the country, and we ended up, it was like going back to our roots, going back to my roots of childhood and being like away from the city. I hadn't lived like that, and we lived there in this little tiny house for a year. And we shot the campaign there, and we called it Tree of Life because it was like going back to your roots. It was such an interesting time. And the other pieces were, it was all cognac diamonds, and these are rose gold and Yawa opals, and the blue is like so incredible that you can, I don't know if you can see the color well.
It's really stunning.
They're amazing. And then we did a lot with rough diamonds also.
Fantastic.
Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. Rough diamonds, and also diamond beads, and everything was like cognac color.
Yeah.
All cognacs and rose gold, greens. And it was kind of like this incredible collection of turquoises, greens, blues, and rose gold and brown. And it was, incredible. But we shot a video of my daughter Alexa's friend came and shot a video. Everything was kind of homegrown, back to your roots, but it really was amazing because it worked really well with COVID.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a great experience.
It sounds fantastic. And I think it's nice, we were talking just before we started, like how much if you were lucky enough to have that experience during COVID where you could really like sort of feel more grounded, slow down a little bit, like you said, kind of rediscover yourself and kind of what you're really passionate for. And then the kind of creativity kind of flows. And I'm, looking at the collection, there's a real sense of, it doesn't surprise me that it's called Tree of Life, and kind of, that feeling, and I'm kind of getting with the cognac diamonds, there's that feeling of, it does feel a little bit like way back. It has a bit of nostalgia to it, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. With the opal as well.
Yeah, and even to even one step further, I'm not wearing it today, but very often I wear a ring that's a root of a tree that was made by an artist who gave it to my mother. And I wore it all during COVID, and we were talking about making a secondary mark for the brand. And my daughter Alexa, who came on board because she lost her job during COVID. She was working in design, and unfortunately the brand that she was with had to let people go. She came to work for us, for Nina Runsdorf, and she came up with this secondary mark by using the that I wear from my childhood. So that even brought us back to our roots even more. And it's the root of a tree.
That's amazing. That sounds.
And then to take it one step further, we made bracelets that we're giving to charity. That when people buy them, the 100% goes to charity.
Oh, gorge.
It's like a little. You see, it's a little tree.
For the EJF Foundation.
For EJF Foundation.
Oh,
so. Yeah, and those can be bought on the website, and all of the money goes right back to EGF.
Oh, that's amazing. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think there was, that was again another really great thing to see with not just big brands or established brands, but smaller brands and independent brands really trying to give back to their communities and what was happening. There was such a sense of, we can all do something to kind of contribute and to support each other, because everyone was being affected. Like there was unscathed essentially in this.
When New York got hit, because we were hit first, right? We were probably the first city to close, I think, right?
We were hit very hard.
We were so hit. New York was so devastated, and we did a campaign for Mount Sinai where we gave a huge percentage, and we did it with Just One Eye in Los Angeles, and we did a push to try to raise as much money for Mount Sinai, and we did do well. We sold a bunch of pieces, it felt so good to be able to give, to help people in the hospitals. It was crazy. So
for sure. And everyone, I felt so helpless. So even in some way, if I was going to purchase something and I knew it was going to give back, it made me feel so good. Or if I could make something, everyone really wants to help, and it goes so far because it all trickles down, and there's always a way that that one can to contribute, which is really great. And I mean, you were speaking about sort of your daughter joining the business, and I was reading your Q&A on your website and how it was, it wasn't creating boundaries, etc., but which I thought was interesting. I think because you're now living together, you're working together, there's nowhere to go, there's no relief. So how did you build that process together? And because obviously something amazing came out of it, not just with the collection, I'm sure, but with being able to kind of almost rebond and reconnect again in a different way. But what was the process there? How was it?
It was a very interesting process for a few reasons. One is the house was very tiny.
Okay.
And they were, and my kids were even more conservative about COVID than I was. I think that's a general situation where the older wasn't as scared as the younger. I've seen that a lot. And so we had to create boundaries, and we brought a third party in so that we could talk to someone in order to figure out how to create boundaries so that I didn't drive her crazy.
Okay.
And that she didn't drive me crazy. Would you like to meet her? Did you meet her before? She's here.
So. I would love to meet her, of course.
She's working, watching us.
Oh, lovely to meet you. It's so good. I was loving your Q&A because it was so honest and again so relevant to I think what everyone was feeling. All of a sudden I'm living with my parents again. I'm back at home. I'm now working. Now we're doing things. We're just what does that feel like? It's so interesting to me.
How was it?
It was pretty crazy, but we got through it.
And now we're really good. It's great.
We're better for it, but it definitely took a minute.
For sure. I think everyone had to myself included, I remember sort of just in the way we were sharing information, because I wasn't necessarily connecting with a lot of my family at the time, and we all sort of realized that we had to change how we were communicating with each other, because it was really easy to kind of just be sending lots of information, but we weren't kind of checking in with how does that make you feel? Are you okay with, and we started to really talk about it, and communication had to change, right? Because I realized that there's certain things that may be overwhelming to others, some things that maybe people felt uncomfortable with, or they wanted more information. So it was a real shift, and something that we probably wouldn't have done or talked about if it wasn't for what happened. So
yeah. No, I think it was an amazing life changer in so many ways, and tragic, but also very grounding. And I see life completely differently now. And the other thing is that I traveled a lot, and by not leaving the country for such a long time also made you build your life even more here where you live. Because usually I'm on the plane all the time, and I haven't been home for that long, and years and years and years. So it's very interesting.
So you're seeing things almost differently for the first time in a while,
exactly.
as well, I'm sure.
Yes.
So it's Lexi, right? Or Alexa?
Alexa.
So you're designing now with your mom, is that right?
Yeah, she does. We do the designing, and she does more the big pieces.
We do it together.
And I manage production and kind of work on the brand identity type of stuff.
What's it like when there's something that you love, and then do you feel like your mom always gets where you're going, or do you have to be like, no, this is the piece, trust me, this is where we should go for it? Or how much do you have to convince her, or is it just much more symbiotic?
There's not too much convincing. We have pretty similar tastes.
Oh, that's good.
She trusts my opinion a lot, so there's not a lot of convincing that has to be going on.
That's good. That's amazing. It's always
she's like my eyes. For instance, I used to have to go to the photo shoots, and now I don't have to go. She goes and does it herself and doesn't even ask me, and everything is beautiful. And so it's very symbiotic, and we're very similar taste level wise, and so Actually, she's a little more pared down than me, so she's like, Mom, it's a little too over the top. She might do that, water it down a bit, because she's just like, but I'm very
probably the same with my mum, actually. I'm like, just yeah, I'm like, just one step back, it's fine. I love it, but just one step back.
I'm also younger, so it's a different
aesthetic a little bit.
Yeah.
Like what's really good is she's bringing a younger, extremely wearable piece that I like. I've never done the flip rings in all gold with no diamonds, and we just launched the Cala collection, which was really the beginning of her first thing that she designed for the brand. And then she's also doing these little like hoops with little charms that I would never wear because it's just not my thing. But it's perfect for
designs. They're all coming like they're all under the umbrella of Nina Runsdorf. It's just kind of like a younger entry point type of.
I love that, and it makes sense because it's kind of, you know, you learn a lot from your father-in-law. Now your daughter's kind of picked it up. There's this really nice sense of travel, and like you said, like as trends go on, and you know, you're sort of seeing a certain demographic from a completely different point of view, so you can sort of say, hey, this would look great if, and you're not changing the brand, you're not deviating, it's just kind of adding an extra layer so you can include a new audience, because that's how your business continues to grow. That's the longevity of it all the time.
Also making things that I would want to wear, because I would love to wear, like, you know, these crazy sliced diamonds rings, but it's not necessarily, I don't feel 100% comfortable all the time, so it's kind of wearing, like, making things for like me and my friends, and so it's fun.
And it seems fun. It seems like I feel like I want to work with you guys now. I'm like, I want to be there and there's someone what's happening.
We have a good time at the office. And actually, Lauren and I went to high school together. And
oh, you did? Okay.
He's worked here for like longer than I have, so 3 years. Family oriented. She got me the job.
We say family. It's all back to your roots. Family doctor, family jeweler, know your neighbor. Yeah. You know, that's why we also created this private atelier that we're not on the street level. You know, a few years ago, we pulled back from Bergdorf's and Neiman's and all that, and we really went into specialized stores that, you know, that we connect really well with the people that own it, the people that are selling it, you know, that really know the brand voice and, you know, how to message people, and, you know.
That makes so much sense, actually. And you know, you were talking about how it kind of is like the new luxury of really being able to kind of meet people where they are, and it's so clear that this is something that people feel really comfortable with, and it's such a different way of selling, because when I've worked in that environment as well, and we're sort of, you know, rather than just showing lots of, you know, links and pieces of jewelry, you know, we were able to kind of be in a situation where you can say, let me come to you and I'm going to bring you some pieces that you can have, and it's a whole different experience as to what we were doing before. First of all, you're able to, and I'm sure you can shed more light, but there's a sense of really getting to kind of feel a connection with the pieces and with that, but in a way that they weren't being able to get before. And also, you know, from a client facing role that I was in, I was all of a sudden seeing that person in their element. So being able to kind of dress them in the piece, and not rather than tell them, and, you know, I'm just like, what about this? And I'm seeing them in their own element. And so I'm building the story with them, with those pieces. But how is it for you? Because I'm sure, like you said, kind of the kind of insight that you now have and the connections that you have with those types of clients must be completely different.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, you know, we really know our clients well, and we like to, you know, take them to lunch, know about their family, what's their favorite color, every detail, because we become friends. You know, it's more like it's all about trust. It's also knowing about what people own and what they need in their lives, and what is, as you said, to help them build their closets and their story. And so we do that with pretty much everyone, not just the clients, but also the owners of the stores, also the sales team. We go all the way across, so that, you know, people are texting me nonstop. It could be a salesperson, it could be the owner. It doesn't matter. It's just like, it's all about, you know, having that connection.
the lines of communication are incredibly open between us, our clients, the personal shoppers, the salespeople at the stores. They're emailing us, texting us. They have a client that's interested in this. We send them images. I'll run down and drop it off at the store if need be. It's a really great way to work because also they understand Nina, they understand the brand. We come and we talk to them. Nina does a walkthrough of all of the stones and kind of like a little brief story about each collection. And I think that it really does give us another level with the people at the stores. I think that they're like far more susceptible to pushing us because they understand us and they understand the brand.
For sure. And I think it changes your whole perception about, you know, if you're a shopper or owner, store owner, for example, or a stockist, how you really convey the Nina Runsdorf brand and the piece to the client. And all of a sudden what comes with it is like, it's almost a little piece of you. It's your personality. It's not just the piece. And then you're matching it with them. And, you know, that's what the client always, that's what you always remember. It's the anecdotes. It's the feeling, it's the essence of whatever, right? And it makes it, and that's why, you know, probably for the reason why I for me personally, I've been in this industry for so long is because I love all the stories that come with it and the times that you remember that you wore that piece or when you got it, or like you said, the lunch is sometimes it's not even about buying it, it's about the fact that we went to lunch and then this happened and something you showed me and, you know, and how it all developed and grew and it's super exciting.
It is. And it's nice because I also, you know, it's like, it's not like giving birth, but a lot of my pieces are, you know, one of a kind. So I like to know where they are and I like to know who has them. And I like to know that they're loving it and they're wearing it and enjoying it and makes them feel happy and makes them smile. So.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better when they send you a picture.
Yeah.
So cool. So we can have some questions. We've actually had a couple of comments already come through. Someone's had said that they absolutely love the dynamic of the conversation.
Thank you.
I'm going to put that down to you guys. I won't take any credit for that. And then we have Helen here. She's saying, my daughter Etta has joined, who's 7, and she loves the flower sliced diamond ring and has also been picking out earrings for her grandmother, who also loves earrings. And
I love that.
Yeah, it's nice because I guess, again,
it's generational.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And that's how it should be.
I agree. And I remember actually my grandmother from a very young age. And I was sort of the first girl after, like, her sister had boys, she had boys, there's lots of boys in the family. And I was the first granddaughter. So she's always, you know, my jewelry's for you. Great. And, you know, I didn't even really know what that meant when I was younger, but you know, she always had great jewelry. And but there is this real something about the idea of, you know, when she would put on certain pieces and there's the story like, oh, you know, your grandfather got these for me, these rubies for me, and my friend helped him pick them out. And there's always like this really beautiful story of why she has them. So when she wears them, you remember the story. And that's always something that we would do, like together. We would like try on her jewelry and she would tell me where she gets it from, which is, you know, super exciting. Another question we have, so what are you excited about, you know, going forward? Like, are there any pieces that you're really excited to showcase, or what's making you feel excited for the next
year? As you can tell, I'm a big emerald lover.
Yes.
And I'm doing a big show in July, and I'm creating some major emerald pieces that are extraordinary, and I'm really, really excited about those pieces. Here are some other pieces that we've made over the years, just to show you. Like, this is a flip ring with an eye. It's by an artist. It's a collaboration with an artist by the name of Nir Had. He's a painter, and he does these crazy eye paintings. And so he wanted to buy a flip ring for his wife, so he bought a ring for his wife, you know, more of a classic style. And then I said to him, let's do a collaboration. So we did an eye on a tear drop.
So good. I
love
that.
That's what else do I have here? We have some really big monster diamonds that are more engagement ring style. This is a 10 carat. And then we made really incredible handmade mountings. So it has a very old world feel. It almost feels like you could have, you know, inherited this from your grandmother.
Yeah.
One too, it has, because it's the black rhodium, it has more of like an antique feel.
Yes.
Very casual.
Yeah, casual rock. I love that actually that kind of cocktail style is really making it like a huge comeback. Yeah. We were very much into being quite minimalist and don't get me wrong, all of that is still great, but I'm definitely seeing this idea that we can do a bit bigger now, and it's
I have a feeling that now that everybody is kind of like ready to get out of town, just party and go out and have parties and see people. I think it's going to be like the Roaring 20s.
So wild.
I think it's going to be wild.
Yeah, and I think it always is, isn't it? After like something bad, you have now comes the fun. So let's
exactly. Do it. These are emerald cabochons with marquise in between each one.
And they're earrings.
These are hoops.
Frontal hoops.
These are really interesting. These are tabbies diamonds that have been strung on a wire. Each one is triangular.
Wow.
They're diamond beads. I love what I do. I love to create things, and I love to make people happy. And just, whether it's a friend of mine that's, buying a gift for his wife's 60th birthday, or making a gift for a 13-year-old or whatever. I love what I do. I love to be able to wake up every morning and just smile and just, I love creating things. And it's just incredible that I'm able to do that.
I think it really shows. I can see how you talk. Sorry, Lauren.
No, it's okay. I said it's not too bad, not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Always like douse yourself while you're doing your work.
Yeah, it's a nice day at work, right? Just to be like, oh, I'll try on the dime. It's okay, I'll try it on.
That's very cute, a very cute thing. Sinead, who is our bookkeeper, comes in a few times a week. And when she comes in, she goes right to the tray. She puts on tons of jewelry. She does her work, and then she puts it back in the tray and she leaves.
She goes, what can I wear? And I'm like,
what's today? How can I make myself happy today? She's hysterical.
I'm like, Sinead, this is going somewhere. Take from that tray, please.
It's really fun.
I love that. Just to be, I'm just going to wear it here. Just try it on, sit with it. Yeah. Feel pretty.
It makes her happy. She's like, it makes me so happy. I'm like, so wear it while you're here, and then, put it back in the tray. It's really cute.
I would do that for sure. I think that's absolutely me. Just one last question we have here before we go. Do you feel that you're able to develop a closer relationship with personal shoppers because this business is a family affair?
I do. I feel that it's also because it's very important to me. Like, I love people. First of all, I love people. I'm very social, and I love to have people know the brand, and I just love to know people. So it really makes a really big difference for me to be able to have relationships with all the people that support me in business and that, help me, and I want to help them. So,
I think it really shows.
Thank you.
It really shows. And I love to see your excitement about talking about your pieces, because I it's really infectious to speak with someone who loves to talk about, whether it's fashion or jewels or something that you're passionate about. So when it really comes through and I'm like, you're really excited, I'm excited, and then I'm even more excited to tell someone, this is why I'm really excited about it. And it works, the way in which I deal with my clients, I can't wait. I'm not trying to really sell them stuff. I'm just like, let me tell you about X, Y, this person who I met, or this design. And they get the same type of infectious quality, and it always comes from the designer. Because I've also been on the flip side, and I'm sure you have as well, when there's no personality or there's no passion behind it, or that you get, and it doesn't have the same type of feeling. You can't do the same thing with it that you would like to with that client or what have you, and you don't get the rapport. So it's really
I completely agree.
And it's genuinely just completely organic,
It's right. It's the way life should be.
I 100%. Well, I'm really sad to let you go. I could talk to you guys forever.
Well, thank you so much. This was amazing. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time, and here's to a great summer. We were saying before.
Yes, you too. The best summer.
And more gems, more jewelry, and I hopefully we'll get to do something with you guys again soon. It's been wonderful.
We would love to anytime.
Thank you so much.
Have
Bye.
a great week. Bye.
Bye bye.